Eve the Medium, and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're new to my channel and you're interested in developing your spiritual gifts, I invite you to subscribe below and also click the notification bell to be notified when any of my new videos are up. Today's video is the English version of my previous video, answering a question among so many that I receive on a daily basis. And that question is, what happens if I neglect to attend my altar? And this answer also applies to the ancestors' altar. I have answered part of this question in many of my other videos on the importance and the responsibility of an altar. But in this video, when I say altar, it applies to every altar you have in your home, whether it is to the Loa, whether it is to your ancestors, or to a particular saint which you have devotion for. Something that I have also mentioned is how big of a responsibility is setting up an altar. And not only setting up an altar, of taking care of an altar. An altar is not something you just simply set up just because you want to connect at that moment and time in your life with the Loa or with your ancestors or with whatever spirit it is that you want to connect. An altar, especially for the Loa, holds a lot of responsibility. This is something that once you set up correctly, okay, because it needs to be set up correctly. Any altar that you set up should be set up under the guidance of a high priestess or a spiritualist. Meaning when setting up the ancestors' altar, you should have someone guiding you in order to set it up correctly. As I have mentioned before, an altar is like a doorway to the spiritual world. And if set up incorrectly, what can happen is you can leave a door open to lower level spirits and dark energies. And this is something that I definitely know you do not want to do. So with that being said, it is a very big responsibility to take care of these altars. I'm going to refer to the Loa's altar. There are so many people that just out of curiosity, that just because I want to work with the spirit, I love Santa Marta. This is something that I hear so often. I love Santa Marta. I'm going to start serving her. I feel a connection with her. But sometimes it's not really the connection with the Loa. It's just this, again, curiosity. Because Santa Marta is a Loa of domination. It's a very, very powerful Loa. And so many people want to work with Santa Marta. But as I mentioned before, you have to be careful. You cannot approach a Loa if that Loa does not walk with you. It is important before setting up an altar that you get either a spiritual path reading or a reading with a high priestess. And not only go by what this person is telling you, but feel it. It is so important that you feel the messages that you receive in that reading. Not just because someone tells you you need to set up an altar for Papa Legba, you need to set up an altar for Believer Kang, you need to set up an altar for Ogun. You have to feel this connection. You understand? And feel the presence of the Loa. When I gave a spiritual path investigation reading, I go through a process of prayers with the Loa to make sure that you feel some type of connection with the Loa that are coming through, that walk with you. And afterwards, after that reading, so many people have mentioned to me that they have had experiences with the Loa. So you see, this is a sign. And if the Loa at that moment, meaning your Loa, asks for an altar to be set up or for you to serve him or her, then I will guide you through it. So many people set up altars just because I had a dream with St. Michael. I had a dream with St. Martha, because St. Martha is the most famous one, okay? I had a dream with St. Martha. Afterwards, they go and set up a huge altar without even knowing what that Loa wants. You must wait for that Loa to speak to you and tell you specifically what they want. Again, when I do a spiritual path investigation reading, I always recommend that you write this information down. I write it down as well, so you can have this information of what the Loa that walks with you requires. And then as you go along, that Loa will manifest in your life and ask you for other things. But you should never go ahead of yourself and start offering things, setting up an altar without that Loa's permission. And just because you dream with a Loa, that does not mean that you go and set up an altar immediately. Sometimes the Loa may come into your dreams just to guide you in a certain situation, or to help you through a certain experience that you're going through in your life. You see? Not necessarily so you can set up an altar and begin to work with them. So what happens after you set up an altar and then all of a sudden you decide, you know what? I no longer want this responsibility, because it's a big responsibility. I wake up every morning and make coffee for all my Loa, meaning the Loa that walk with me, the ones that have requested coffee. I make sure that their glasses are clean, that the water is fresh. I speak to them every morning, and I wait to see or to receive any messages they have for me, and if they require anything on that particular day. That's on a daily basis. I've been doing this for 30 plus years, and I've never gotten tired, because as I always say, you have to be born for this. And how do you know that you're born for this? Because you will never get tired of serving your spirits. There is not one single day that I would say, today I do not feel like even taking care of the altar, changing the waters, or even lighting their candles. There is not one single day, or there has not been one single day. I automatically know what to do. This is something that I love, that comes from within. This is not something that I decided one day I am going to do. I was born with this gift. I was born into the bloodline of the Loa. I have the connection with the Loa. So when a child is born with the connection with the Loa, it's like we already know what we're supposed to do. Yes, we sharpen those skills as we go along, but the Loa let us know. It's like we know automatically. So this is something that you do not get tired of. If you find yourself getting tired, saying, you know what, I just want to take this altar down, there are consequences. Not only with the Loa, but with every spirit. There are consequences. I have known of so many people that after they set up an altar, either they change their path and say, you know what, I'm going to change religions. I do not want to work with the Loa. They bring down the altar, they disrespect them, and what happens? Their life turns into chaos, turns completely upside down, because the spirits are not a game. And so many people think they are. So many people think the spirit world is a game. It's not. You cannot call on a spirit, start taking care of that spirit, and then all of a sudden say, I just don't want to work with you anymore. It doesn't work that way. This is not something that you turn on and off. I'm going to set up an altar today. Tomorrow I don't want it. Then today I decide that I want to set it up again, and I want to start working with a Loa again. This is not something that we do. That is why it's so important that you feel it in your bones, that you feel it in your soul, that this is something that you want to do. Another thing a lot of people tend to do is set up an altar, and then when people are going over to visit, they hide it. They take everything away and they hide it. There are also consequences to this. It's like someone hiding you when their friends come over or someone comes to visit. Either you do it correctly and you respect them and follow the protocol, or you do not do it at all. You must be ready to dedicate your life to taking care of your spirits. If you're not sure, if you want to work with them, leave it at that and wait. Now, if you are called to serve, you can go this way, you can go that way. But sooner or later, those spirits are going to bring you back to that path, because you were born for it. The whole point here is not setting up an altar if you're not ready. I have seen so many people's lives falling apart because they immediately set up an altar without even knowing how to set up an altar. And they go to a botanica, start buying all the statues, lighting candles, and even start reading the tarot and doing so many things that they're not supposed to. You do not have to have a huge altar. You should always work with the spirits that are closest to you, with your main spirits. We have many, many spirits, hundreds, but that does not mean that we fill our home with all these statues. I have seen people that their bedroom looks not even like a church. It looks like a botanica. So there's no need for that. If you have one particular loi that walks with you, when you serve a loi, they, like in a sense, serve you. They help you. They protect you. They protect your family. They guide you. But once you stop serving them or taking care of them, all that is out the door. That is why so many people's lives turn upside down. Because what happens? That was going to remove their protection from you. Except your guardian angel. Your guardian angel will always be with you. But the Loi, they will remove that protection from you. They will just completely stop helping you or guiding you. Why do we serve the Loi? Because it's an exchange of energy. We must give in order to receive. It's part of the law of life. They exchange the flowing of energy to keep that energy flowing. You give, you receive. And it always comes back to you. Everything that you give to the Loi always comes back to you. That is why when my Loi asked me for anything, even when I was beginning, I never bargained. I mean, if this costs a certain amount, I will give it to them. And let me tell you, I will get that back, not even 3 times, but more than that. In health, financial blessing, doors were opening before me. Anytime you give to spirit, you get it back. Always. There's a lot of people that say when it comes to serving the spirits, oh, that's too expensive. Let me buy them this that's a lot cheaper. So that's what you're going to get back. If you give cheap, you're getting back cheap. So if you're not ready to take on this responsibility, whether it's with the ancestors' altar, whether it's with the altar for the Loi, whether it's to a particular saint that you're devoted to, if you're not ready, if you're not sure, if you want to party, hang out, have fun, enjoy your life, don't do it. This is not your path. Again, I've been doing this for more than 30 plus years, and I still love it. I still have the same love for my spirits as in the beginning. I still take care of my altar with the same love. I still take care of them, serve them with the same love, the same dedication. We cannot say afterwards the Loi are bad. If you give them something, then take it away. So honestly, guys, do not set up an altar if you're not ready. Because again, the answer is, once you start serving them, or any spirit in general, meaning by setting up an altar, and then you neglect it, allow the cups to dry, allow the coffee to dry, the altar is all dirty, all dusty, because you just don't want to deal with it anymore. Your life is going to become that same way. It's going to be in total darkness. Wait until you are responsible enough to take care of that altar. And do not go buying so many statues if you do not know those spirits. If you do not know how to take care of them. If you do not know if they walk with you. Wait before setting up an altar. If you really want to work with your main spirit guide, start there. If you are, again, going to be responsible enough to do it. If you're not going to be taking that altar down and hiding it from people. That is one thing you need to be aware of. This is a big responsibility, so you really need to think of the consequences before you set up any kind of altar, any type of altar. This is something not only for one day, or for 2 days, or for a month, and then change your mind. This is a lifelong responsibility. So guys, I hope I have answered that question. What happens if I neglect to take care of my altars? I hope this answer not only helps that person that emailed me, but that it helps all of you. A lot of people out there that are wondering why their life is turning upside down. An altar is meant to be taken care of. And as I always say, patience is key. In this path, many are called, but few are chosen. Guys, if you have enjoyed this video, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. And if at any time you're interested in booking a regular reading or a spiritual path investigation reading with me, I always leave the link to my website below, evespiritualhealer.com. May God, the law of the 21 division, bless you and your family. And as always, I wish you much Love and light.